It is wonderful to have you all here. I am Robert Hartley, GM, and yes, I have a sexy cold voice today. This is what you get from doing too many panels at PAX. Way too many panels. I'm Robert Hartley, GM. I am a full-time content creator for Dungeons & Dragons. I'm a professional nerd, TTRPG player, you name it, all over the internet at Robert Hartley, GM. Some of you might know me from being the Dungeon Master for a comedy group called Viva La Dirt League. Have you heard of them? Excellent, excellent. And has anyone here, through wave of applause, actually, not through wave of applause, because you all have green sheets of paper. And the purpose of that is to make it nice and visual for me when we get into the voting system later. I will explain that as we go. But through way of showing me your piece of paper, who has played Twitch Tales with me before? Oh, nice. So this is a brand new thing for a lot of people. Excellent. I get to describe what the hell it is. So Twitch Tales is an interactive game of Dungeons & Dragons that I run every single week over on my Twitch channel, Robert Hartley GM. And I'm the only one on the stream. I'm the Dungeon Master. I'm in charge of the world and the NPCs and what happens, the plot and all of that. But my players, singular actually, my player is the Hive Mind actions of the chat. So the chat make up all of the decisions, sometimes better than others. Sometimes there is a lot of dissent among the chat, and it takes a while to decide whether to go left or right. But sometimes they're all in agreement, and that's part of the fun of Twitch Tales. Twitch Tales is the chat being interactive with the direction of the story. And so, the first time ever being able to do it live here at PAX Australia, I'm very grateful to do so. Woo! Yeah, that's the right expression for that. So the first time doing it live is that rather than doing it online through some sort of poll or anything, I decided, no, I'm going to make the most of being live and have you physically wave around a piece of paper for your decisions. So I've kind of made it, just because we've only got an hour, I've kind of made it more like a choose-your-own-ending sort of a story. I'll give you 3 or 4 options each time, and I'll just ask you through them who wants option A, who wants option B, and I will do a visual count. I'm not going to waste time actually counting, but it's just kind of a general gist. And if there's a dissent, well, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. All right, so so only a few of you have played Twitch Tales with me before. Who's played D&D before? Oh, much more of you. Excellent. But not all of you. Interesting. All right, so how that works is basically it's a choose-your-own-ending thing. I will tell you what do you want to do, and then I will tell you what you need to roll for that. And I'm not going to get all of you to do the rolling, because that would take a while to average out the numbers that you roll. So I will be rolling for you, and you're going to have to trust that I'm not fudging the dice. Good luck. All right, so for this game, you are collectively working together as a hive mind to control the actions of the main character. And if I can get the, you can see the main character in the corner there. We created this character on one of my streams recently. You are a swashbuckler, level 5 rogue, Delphinium. This is some of the artwork decided by the people of my community for what she might look like. We decided that she's a 5-inch tall fairy, so even small for a fairy. She is a poison specialist, poison expert, and she's got bright orange fiery hair and eyes. So if you would like to follow along with what her character sheet is, there's a QR code for it right there. That should take you to D&D Beyond. You'll be able to see what all of your stats are, and you can go through it and see, oh, actually, we're really good at this thing. Maybe we can use that to get out of our upcoming problems. So make sure to scan the QR code with your smart devices. Let's see what I'm missing here. You'll notice that she is very weak with a -2 strength, but she's also very dexterous and very charming with a +3 in both of those. As for the setting that we're in today, we are in my homebrew world of Rinn. Rinn is the game that I set all of my campaigns in, all of the Dungeon Master for Hire jobs that I do, all of my home games, all of my Twitch Tales Live. So everything that happens is canon. Unfortunately, that means that the game I ran yesterday, anybody see that game yesterday? Yes, that game is also canon. 90 minutes of pure chaos, mostly getting Zach to run around the stadium. I'm going to have to find a way of actually making that canon. But we are continuing from a similar story today. If you did miss the game yesterday, don't worry, this is a standalone as well, so it will make sense even if you hadn't seen it. But if you did see it, you might pick up on some of the repeat characters and themes of demons. All right, so on stream, I will usually do a thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat, or a poll, but today you have a sheet of paper. Everybody just show me that you can wave a sheet of paper. Wonderful. I can see that some of you cannot. Well, that's fine. Genuinely, that's fine. Some people watch Twitch Tales to just enjoy it and not actually participate. They just go along for the ride, and that's fine. So let's see. Without further ado, let's jump into Twitch Tales Live. general trepidation. We begin today's tale on the continent of Peor, in a small fairy village in the fey-influenced country of Gaul. Gaul has been at war with the neighboring countries of Elibri and Vaterland for around 160 years now, in what the humans call the 100 Years' War, because they're not good at counting. But they currently find themselves in a ceasefire due to the presence of a recently opened demon portal spewing forth all manner of demons that are apparently crabs now. That was something that happened yesterday. So crab-like demons, let's say. So as you are currently in your home village, the tiny little fairy village with tiny little dollhouse-sized buildings, you are helping to secure the place as best as you can against those foul fiends running amok among your forest. So the first vote will be, how are you helping to secure your village? Are you A, setting traps around the village? Are you B, adding more locks and bars to the inside of the fairy doors and windows of your houses? Or are you C, working on your poisons to try and create a stockpile of them should you need them? Let's go with option A, setting traps around the village. Oh, there's a few people wanting to set traps. It's a very rogue-like thing to do, yes, nice. So option B, are you adding locks and bars to the doors of your buildings? Definitely not option B. And option C, are you working on your poisons to create a stockpile? Oh, it's definitely poisons. As a poison specialist, you are working on your poisons. Now, I should give you a little backstory for Finny in case you weren't in the stream where we created her. Finny had lost her mother a long time ago at a younger age. As, of course, she did, because she's an adventurer in a D&D story. And you have to lose at least one of your parents. Finny, wanting answers to this, met at some point a demon that called itself Kasht and presented itself as if it was a devil. Finny, not knowing the difference between the fiends, thought that devils were duty-bound by deals, and the deal that he was offering, information about her mother's death, in return for him giving her some poisons and explaining the use of poisons, seemed like it had no downside to her. So she took the deal, and being a demon, he had no need to explain what he's actually getting out of it. So unbeknownst to you, Finny, everyone that you have ever killed with your poisons as a swashbuckling rogue, their soul has been transported as coinage to the abyss, where Kasht can actually use them. So your abilities with poisons, your unparalleled insight into how poisons work, this has all come from your demonic pact, as it were, with Kasht, the demon. So you are working on these poisons, happily just doing your thing, thinking, oh, I'm so good at this. I will have you roll a few ability checks now. So we are going to go into a very truncated version of my brewing rules that I use for my games. And we're going to start with, it's basically a skill check of 3 things. And if you succeed on at least 2 of them, you will succeed on making some more poisons. So the first one is to do a foraging or survival roll to accrue the ingredients that you need from the nearby forest. I'm going to give you advantage on this because it is a fairy forest and you know it's your home territory. So with advantage, we're going to roll and you're going to add your respective modifiers. We got a 9 and a 14. So with your 14 plus your survival modifier of +1, as you'll see on your character sheet, we get a 15. The DC was 12 to finding these ingredients, so you succeed. That's 1 down, 2 to go. Let's see. The second one is, a part of this process is to prepare those ingredients, whether it's dicing, chopping, mashing, all the things that we do with the ingredients as in a sort of a cooking preparation. The similar can be said for the brewing rolls. So this one was without disadvantage, but because you are a poison expert, you have expertise in the poisoner's kit. So for this one you will have, let me find it on my notes, you'll have a +3 from your dexterity. It's about how well you can use your tiny little tools with your tiny little hands. And a +6 from your expertise in the poisonous kit. So you'll have a +9 to making these ingredients usable. And with a nat 1, that is a good way to start, Finny. You managed to cut yourself and take a point of damage while you are preparing the ingredients. You also get blood mixed in with the ingredients, and you think, well, maybe that'll add to poisons. You decide to continue with it, because if you succeed on this last one, you can still succeed on making some more poisons. Thankfully, you hadn't actually brewed the poisons. If you nat 1 on this one, you're going to get some poison damage too. On this last roll, it is a brewing check for stirring, adding, simmering, reducing, heating, cooling, all at the right times. Everybody knows that it's a subtle art to potion making. And so you will have your +6 from your poisons expert, but you will also have a +1 from your wisdom. So with a total of +7, we are going to get a 7 on the dice, so for a total of 14, and the DC was 14 for this. You only just made it. Excuse me. So with a 14, making the poison, but only barely, you are going to only make, sorry, I was speaking in Sylvan. You are only going to have one extra potion added to your stockpile. Extra poison, I should say. I should mention as well that Finny being a poison expert, it's not just about poison damage. There's a whole extra suite of poisons in my games. Poisons that can make you go to sleep, poisons that can paralyze you, poisons that can turn you into different things, polymorph-style poisons, all sorts of different things. So, you are making your way you are working away at your poisons in your workshop when you hear a familiar voice behind you, that of your little brother, Basil. Fini, you got a sec. You turn around to see him, just under 6 inches tall, pink skin, rusty brown ringlets of hair, fiery eyes, and a teeny scar on his teeny cheek. Dressed in dark mouse leathers, you don't see much of Basil, given that he's not in a line of work that lends itself to being around all that often. He is couchy about his occupation, but you know that he works for some secretive organization of do-gooders who put themselves outside of the law. A sort of Robin Hood-esque crime family, if you will. Basil has, over the years, taught you a great deal of your roguish abilities. He's the one who taught you how to pick locks and how to pick pockets. He's the one who taught you some skills towards stealthing appropriately. The only thing he didn't teach you about your roguish skills is your ability with poisons, which came from your demonic pact with Kasht. Hello, Squeak, he says, trolling you with a nickname that you've always hated. My guild has a job for me. After much consideration, I actually think that you'd be a perfect fit for it. If you're interested, this could be your chance at an initiation, finally. What do you say? So, do you A, accept immediately? Do you B, need more clarification? Or C, reject him outright? Let's go with option A. Do you accept the initiation job? Oh, there's a few hesitations, but there's quite a bit of Finny's synapses interested in the job. Do you B, need more clarification? Oh, very much so. And just to be very specific about it, do we C, reject him outright? Of course you try to reject him outright, because you want to screw with my entire plot for the day. Thank you, Clem. Thankfully for you, the rest of these people aren't as well accrued to being in my Twitch chat and being absolute trolls. So they go with what I was clearly setting up as the plot for today's one-shot that I only have an hour for. Thank you very much for that. So you ask him, of course, I'm interested. I've been interested for a long time, but you're going to need to give me more than that. What sort of a job is it? I don't like to kill people if I can help it. And he says, so, all right, here's the deal. You know we're at war with the demons. And you know that we're even working with the beard goblins and the mortos. And she winces. You wince at this and say, I'd really prefer you not to use the racial slurs against the dwarves and the humans, please. He says, fine. You've always been a bloody bleeding heart. Here's the deal. So we've been working with our enemies to fight off these demons. But it turns out that my guild has some inside information. That the fella from the high-ups in Libri, some general or so, he's given orders for his troops to start a lesson. We think his intent is to let the two of us suckers fight it out, thinning our numbers amongst us against the demons, and then finally gaining his footing to finally start expanding into our lands. To give you a bit of context, Alibri, the one that the said general is a part of, is my equivalent of Switzerland, and they are very warmongering, because I thought that was hilarious. And so the general is mostly, the Alibri is mostly human, and this general is being very human about it, trying to use this horrible situation that the three countries find themselves in to his advantage. We of course have the means to eliminate him, but, if we just kill him, it leaves a power vacuum that one of the others should step up to fill. So instead, they asked me if you could make some kind of poison, maybe an enchantment poison. If you can, and you can get close enough to administer it, well, then you might have a little chat with him and persuade him to increase his troops from Alibri, and, well, do his share for the war effort. So, with that extra information, do you A, accept the job, B, need more clarification, or C, turn it down? Let's go A. Oh, a lot of people more keen on taking the job now. Need B, more clarification? Still a few people not quite sure. And C? Thank you very much. There's a lot more trolls now. I shouldn't have mentioned how much people like to troll me. This is going to be great by the end of this session. All right, that was definitely an accept the job. So you say, it sounds like something I can do. Yes, I've been dabbling with enchantment, of course, my whole life. Being a fairy, you are very well adjusted to the understanding how to charm people. Putting that into a poison of sorts is difficult, trying not to kill your opponent, but to just weaken their mind such that they are more persuadable, has been something you've been working on for a while. So, now that we've already accustomed to our potion-making, poison-making system, our survival roll with a +1 and advantage is a 14 or an 11. 14 plus 1 is a 15. 15, because this was a slightly more difficult poison to make, the DC had gone up, but 15 is still enough. You managed to gather the ingredients from the nearby forest to make an enchantment poison. Some of this is actually just your fairy dust, because that's very enchanting as it is. Then it is the preparation roll with a 4, and that shouldn't have been an advantage. Apparently you are terrible at preparing your things. So that is a 4. Excuse me. 4 plus 9 still, because you do have a +9 from your dexterity and expertise. With a 9 takes to a 13, unfortunately 13 was a failure. And so with the last one, do you manage to create an enchantment poison or not? All right, keep giving you advantage for no reason. All right, with this last one, this is the brewing step. How good are you at brewing? You have a +7 to this. If you can't hit the tray, you can't hit the enemy. God damn it, Rob, do it 3 times in a row. That is a 7 again. Very consistent on your brewing, apparently. 7 plus 7, that is a 14. 14 is just below the DC that I'd set. However, in my games, I don't tend to use like a flat number. It's more of a sliding scale of things. So you are on the lower side of success. You'll still have the poison. It'll just be a little bit weaker DC against the enemy once you apply it. All right, so you spend your time creating an enchantment poison, and once it's done, you feel pretty comfortable about your abilities. You go with Basil to meet with the general of the Gaul army. I, for some reason, gave him a name that I couldn't pronounce yesterday. Any Dungeon Masters do that? Sometimes you're just like, oh, he's Elvish, so he should have an Elvish name. Yeah, there we go. There's some green paper coming up. Yeah, I was like, he's an Elvish. He should have an Elvish name. And in my games, Elvish is based on the real-world language of Welsh. So I put into a translator corporal or Welsh or something. And I was putting into Welsh translate things like sergeant and stuff. And I was like, oh, that word looks sufficiently Elvish. And then I put it in my notes and couldn't actually pronounce it. So you meet with Joe Bloggs, the elven general. Now it's canon. It's an ironic name, let's say. And he explains. Excuse me. Got the con crud early this year. He explains to you the location of this general's abode and his security measures. The information has been able to gather basically the route of his guards on the outside of his mansion. Well, not really a manor, let's say. The guards on the outside of his manor and the sort of security measures, and so he gives you a bit of a blueprint. However, the interior of this manor is a little bit of a mystery. You're going to have to work that out as you go. He gives you the directions of where you need to be, and he also mentions, before you leave, Wales, get on the Wales. Oh, and while you're in there, if you could find an item that they stole from the Archdruid, Perina, while you're in there, that'd be a bonus. We would much appreciate it. They took her quarterstaff. You'll definitely know it if you see it. By the way, if anyone was here last year and knows how much I hate wigs, I've decided to try and keep this one on this time because it's actually a much better wig, but much better quality wig. I should have mentioned what the hell I'm dressed as well. I just forgot. Everybody just thinks this is just my normal daily outfit. This is my character from a series called Dragonlance, where I'm a player with Dreaded GM right there in the middle. AJ Winters over there. I don't know if Ellie or Zach are here. Screw you guys. Screw you guys for not supporting me. I was at your panel. You're just going to call them out, Dread. We are playing siblings in that campaign. The entire party are siblings, and so you'll see us dressed up in these sorts of outfits around the place. I'm very excited for it. So you get given your task to primarily poison this guy with your enchantment poison, sneak into his house, obviously, and then once he is enchanted by you, have a little chat to persuade him that he needs to be adding more troops to the fight with the demons. Does that sound like something you can do? Excellent. And while you're in there, as a bonus, if you happen to see this magical quarterstaff that you'll definitely know if you see it, see if you can half-inch it. Which, I should mention, you are 5 inches tall. So keep that in mind when you're trying to half-inch anything on this quest. You do have a tiny bag of holding. If you head to the QR code, you can see the character sheet. You can see your inventory. You do have a tiny fairy-sized bag of holding that can hold a tiny amount of stuff. You do have the reduce spell, well remembered. Yes, you have the reduce spell to reduce a thing for a limited amount of time. Maybe enough time to put it in your bag. It's almost like I gave you that on purpose. It's almost like I was foreshadowing something. All right, so you have made your poison. We are into the section of this campaign where Yeah, we're here for like 3 years, guys. This is an entire campaign. We're in the section of this one-shot where you will now need to decide on your approach to this quest. You have made your way through the forest into the lands of Alibri, and you are outside of the manor. You know the routes of the guards and such, but it is up to you how you want to go about it. Do you A, try and sneak in without being seen using your stealth abilities? Do you B, try to deceive your way in using distractions and deceptions and trying to tell the guards that you're meant to be there for some reason? Or do you C, fight, as is always the case with murder hobos? Let's see, are we A, going to sneak in? Oh, there's a lot of people wanting to sneak, but it's not unanimous. And do we B, try and deceive our way in? Oh, still pretty good, but not quite as many as the sneaking. And do we C, fight our way in? Of course you want to fight your way in, thank you, Dread. Quite a bit of Finney's mind decides, let's just go in guns blazing. I'm 5 inches tall, they won't see me coming. I'll sneak attack them in the face. What have we got? I'm 5 inches tall, I can get in and out without seeing. But then the smarter side of them goes, I'm also 5 inches tall, and if they do swap me, I'm dead. So I believe we're going to go to preferential voting because it's not quite enough to call, and this is how I run my streams on Twitch as well. If it's a little bit no more than 50% has had the vote immediately, we're going to drop off the one that was clearly the loser, which was C, fight your way in, and we're going to vote again. Do you A, sneak in? Or do you B, deceive your way in? All right, now it's much clearer. It seems the fighters have wanted to sneak in. So we are going to go with a sneaky approach. All right, let me check my time. We are good. We're right on time. Perfect. So, to sneak in, are you going to try and find an open window? This is not the actual things. I'm just kind of putting it out there. At this point, I'm willing to open it up to people to call out ideas, but I'm going to give you some suggestions. Are you going to try and find an open window? You know that your older sibling is also a very successful entertainer, a singer and such, and so you could employ their services to make a distraction so that you can't be seen, for instance. You could also try to poison one of the guards so they fall asleep and make sure that you can't be seen as you just stroll in the front door. There's a lot of different options. Has anybody got any particular idea of how we might go about this? One again? Crawl up a drain pipe is a fantastic idea. How many people are for crawl up a drain pipe? Oh, that is a lot of people happy with that. Yes, I like that idea. Making use of the fact that you are tiny. You're only 5 inches tall, and you have wings. So, the problem is this damn wig. That's what the problem is. The problem is you need to get across the grounds that are patrolled by the guards in order to get to the drain pipe. So you've got one step of your plan. It's just not the first step of the plan. So how are we going to go about getting across the grounds without being seen? Right in the hat of one of the guards. I like that. All right, who's all for the idea of riding in the hat of one of the guards? Excellent. This is a lot of people keen on that idea. All right, so we are going to have to stealth up, sneaking style to one of the guards on duty and try not to be seen by the other guard. So we are going to roll a stealth check. Let's have a look what your stealth modifier is. +9, thank you. That helps me looking it up. All right, so with a roll of a stealth, there's nothing that gives you advantages there. I don't remember giving you any items that give you advantage. It's dark. It's dark. All right. Well, yeah. There is a part in your character sheet that says under I think it's ideals. You do your best work after dark. So I'm happy to say that you have waited until dark. However, do you have dark vision, guys? You have the night vision goggles. Well done. It's almost like I was setting you up. So you have night vision goggles to be able to see in the dark. And so you do your best work after dark, and with a 3 on the dice. Yeah, this is the problem with Twitch Tales, guys. I have a curse that when it comes to I'm rolling dice, it means it's not great. However, you got a excuse me. You got a 12 total. I should mention as well at this point, since this is the first one that you are on the verge of failing, because you are a solo campaign, it is very easy to TPK you. How I like to run Twitch Tales is to give you basically a one-time reroll. For the main character of Apis, this is a lucky horseshoe that they have from a tavern where they learned to brew. For you guys, it's a tiny little 4-leaf clover. This gives you 1 reroll per day. You must use it wisely because it does not charge up again until the next dawn. So, with a vote, would you like to reroll out before you know if it passes or fails? A 12 on your stealth check. The humans will have disadvantage. Well done. All right, so that was an overwhelming no. We are not going to re-roll. We are happy to keep the 12 on our stealth check. So let's find, with disadvantage, whether the humans are going to see you or not. The human that you are resting in the hat of, I'm just using the passive perception of, and you did in fact beat him. But the other one is directly talking to him when you fly up to him. So let's have a look. With disadvantage, ooh, that is a 10. 10 plus his modifier is... different app. This is my filling music. Oh, that is a +1. So for an 11, he does not see you. Success. Excuse me. With an 11 on his perception check, as he's talking to the guy, he's seemingly not having the best day as a guard, and you flitter up behind, and you sit in the helmet-like protective headwear right on the back of this guy's head. And I'm going to say that it's got like this floral kind of design, and you're just kind of you do one of these, and just blend in when you're being looked at. And with that, you manage to get close enough to the house to fly off of his hat, his helmet, and head towards the drain pipe. Getting into the drain pipe is easy enough. So let's go with this is going to be, I believe, an acrobatics check, because you are flying up a tiny drain pipe, and if you clip your wings, you're going to have a hard time getting up there. So acrobatics, do you have any advantage for any reason? You have a +6 acrobatics. All right, here we go. That is a 3 again. I am rolling a d20, aren't I? Yes, that is a 20-sided. Let me just check. Yep, there are higher numbers. There are double-digit numbers on there. New dice. All right, new dice. Who wants me to change out the dice? All right, that one goes over there in jail. We're going to be using this one. All right, so with a 3 + 6, that is a 9, which means you are going to get a temporary level of exhaustion. I'm not a huge fan of how exhaustion works in the game. It doesn't last until pretty much you have a sleep. This is just a temporary one that until you have a 10-minute breather. It's sort of like smaller than a short rest. 10 minutes to basically sit down and do nothing. So you are exhausting yourself going up the drain pipe, but you do ultimately make it to the top with a level of temporary exhaustion. I like to call it fatigue. All right, so we are in the gutter at the top of the house. Now that you're on the roof, as it were, much fewer people around to see you. The dogs are obviously not going to get your scent up here. How are you going to get in? Any suggestions? Chimney, down the chimney. Who wants to go down the chimney? It is winter, yes, well remembered. It is winter, so who wants to go down the chimney? You want to have a perception check, see if you can find any other openings. Who wants to look around for other openings? All righty, let's see. Let's see if you can see any other openings. What's our investigation or perception? I'll allow either at this point. Perception +4, thank you very much. That is going to be, 19, there we go, look. All right, so to look around. This is usually how my curse goes. Just to remind you, that was a look around check. Do you think the DC was pretty high on looking around in the dark with night vision goggles? No, it wasn't very high, but we smashed it. We smashed it anyway. You look around all of this house. All right, you managed to pop your little head over the guttering, and you see that there is an upper floor window that is in fact open. It will expose you to the elements, but we've already succeeded on a perception check once. I'm not going to bog us down with many more. So, going through the window. Chill for 10 minutes. Well done. I was trying to get you guys to go hard. We almost got you as well, because that was more than half of the people. However, we got somebody very clever saying, maybe we chill on the roof for 10 minutes first. All right, so you, excuse me, you, screw you. Don't tell me what to do. But also, just apropos of nothing, I've decided I want to hydrate. Thank you for looking after me, people. You can't do that on Twitch with your exclamation mark hydrate. You can't do your commands when you're in person. All right. So we are going to fly in through the window after taking a 10-minute break. So during that 10 minutes, I'm going to have you make a perception check just for seeing if you can hear something that you may hear. Let's see if you do or not. What was the perception modifier again? +4, thank you. That's an 18. with an 18, you can hear that from the inside there are muffled sounds of arguments happening. Arguments in the Humanic tongue, which is an introduced language that is native to humans. It's very, very similar to Common, and so with your ability to speak Common, you can pick up on the general gist of what's being said. It's quite clearly some kind of authoritative figure shouting at somebody below him in one of his subjects, let's say, and giving them orders against their better judgment. What you'll get from that, let's see, you can hear it. Let's see if you can intuit what it is actually, what is going on there. Insight check, what's your insight modifier? What's that? +1, so that is a 2. So with a nat 1 and for a total of 2, although you can hear this thing going on, you can't intuit any more information about why they are arguing. You do have the lucky feat. I forgot I gave you that one as well. So you, and on top of your 4-leaf clover, you have the lucky feat as well. So you actually have 4 rerolls in a day. So who's keen for using one of those 4 rerolls to reroll that insight check? Oh, definitely, overwhelmingly yes. Taking it to an 11 instead of a 2, which is, I would think, better. Yes. Let me just. Yeah, the mathematicians have come back on that one. 11's better than 2. So you managed to actually intuit, because you are particularly lucky, you managed to intuit that the general is giving orders that his subjugates do not agree with. They think that, and not just the ones that you've been told to put a stop to. The people who are not dying to the demons are perfectly happy with his order to stay back from the war. But general things around the house, he's ordering things that are a little bit peculiar. You intuit from your 11 insight that the general is not acting in his normal fashion. All right, I did not expect you to pick up that until later. All right, so you managed to find your way into, after 10 minutes of being on the roof listening, you flitter on down through the open window. You find yourself in a library. What do you want to do in the library? Any options? Just read. Just sit down and read. Why not? Yes. Information about what's going on. So we want to try and find a book that might help us understand what's going on. Who's keen on trying to find a book? There is not anybody else in the room, no. Thank you for clarifying. No, there's no one else in the room with you currently. It's a relatively abandoned library. A lot of people thinking maybe there's more pressing matters. It seems like Finney's idea to sit down and read a book flits through their mind, but they decide against it. So what do we want to do instead? Look around for the books to see if any don't match the rest of them. All right, I will have you. Let's just double check the time real quick. I am still good. All right. Let's make an investigation. This is investigation, not perception, because you're looking for a very specific detail. You're investigating the books against each other. What's your investigation modifier? 0. That bounced out of the tray and was a nat 20. However, my rulers hit the tray. So that is a 15 plus 0 for a 15. 15 is good, very good indeed. You do, in fact, see that some book does not match the rest. Not because it is a fake book, you find out as you flit over to it, but because it is not as dusty as the rest around it. Most of the shelves have not been used for a while. It seems the general likes to lord his intelligence over people without actually reading the books that he owns. Humans, am I right? So he has, however, recently read one of the books. The book has no title on its spine, but it is a very thick leather-bound book. What do you want to do? Open it! Who wants to open the book? All right, without checking for traps, you open the book. Good roguing, everybody. All righty. What was that? Passive perception, yes, indeed. What is your passive? 14. 14 when you are actively looking for things. That is, so in my games I use passive perception and active perception, meaning if you're in the middle of a fight or something, then it is just taking the average of the roll, which is 11 plus your modifier, which would be 15 active perception. If you're just walking down the road, whistling to yourself, then you use passive perception, which is your 5 plus your modifier, so a 9. In this situation, you are in a dangerous situation where you are actively listening out. So we're just taking the average of if you rolled multiple times, that would be 11 plus your perception modifier. With a 15 active perception, we are going to roll a, let's see. I'm going to say, what is your religion modifier? 0. With a 0, with a 13 total then, when you open this book open, there is no trap on it. There is no runes that explode in your face. But there are symbols within it that look arcane in nature. You sort of dart back away from them as soon as you see them, realizing that there's a chance that you've flipped open a glyph of warding. But it doesn't happen. Nothing happens. So you start journeying your way back, and with a 13 religion check, you recognize these runes as fiendish, let's say. Something of the lower planes. I will have a history check from you now. What is your history modifier? 0. Very intelligent character, this character. With a 15 total then. See, it's coming back around. It's coming back around. We're rolling pretty well. With a 15 total with your history check, you recognize elements of this rune as one thing that you found that fateful day when you were introduced to Karst, the demon that gave you your poisoning abilities. You do speak Abyssal. This is not written in Abyssal. This seems like more of an arcane, actually, because it is arcane in nature, I will also have an arcane check. Thank you very much. 11, you are rolling pretty well, despite your 0 modifier to your intelligence checks. With an 11, you can tell that it is of the conjuration field of magic. There's not a lot else that you can get from that. But it is a conjuration symbol, an arcane rune that is definitely fiendish in nature and has it reminds you of symbols you saw around the clearing in which you found Karst when he gave you the deal that you ended up taking. What do you want to do with that information, anybody? Nothing at all. So we take a short rest. You don't have to do anything at all, by the way. You can leave this room if you want, if that's all you want to do. Do you want to put the book back? Do you want to keep reading? Do you want to try and burn the book? Adjust the rune somehow. Scratch it out or add to it in some way. You are arcane enough to know that messing with runes tends to lead to them not being usable anymore. So I had burn the book and adjust the rune in the book, but leave the book intact. Who is for option A of burn the book? You cannot fit the book in your bag of holding without reducing it. The book, I'm going to tell you, as a metagaming thing, like Baldur's Gate, you hover over it and you click explore, and it says immune to poison damage. Strangely, because it's a book. You could put touch poison on it for the person who next picks it up. That is an option. All right, so I'll put that on in the poll as well. We've got A, burn the book. B, try and mess with the runes on the book. Or C, just put the book back as it is, but put some sort of touch poison on it for the next person who touches it. All right, option A, burn the book. Not a lot of people. Option B, mess with the rune in the book somehow. Ooh, a lot of people wanted to do that one. And option C, put some sort of touch poison on the book. Ooh, quite a few people wanted to do that one, but not quite not quite as much as the other one. So we are going to... What was that? One more time. Oh, both of them. B and C is what you were saying. I was hearing VNC, and I was like, what the hell is VNC? And I was going through all of the acronyms of D&D. I was like, RAW, D&D. Anyway, B and C, cross out the runes and put the book back with some poison on it. You can do so, however, you will be taking time, and you're not in an empty house. You've heard arguing already in here. The longer you stay in here, doing nothing on towards your actual objective, the longer it is that you have an opportunity to get caught and found out. So are people still cool with doing B and C, with the opportunity that you might take a little too much time in here? Put your thing up if you want to do both. Not a lot of people put your thing up if you just want to do one of them. That is definitely the option. So we are going with just the one of them, mess with the rune. So this is going to be, let's see, another Arcana check, because it's going to be about your ability to know which parts of this magic rune are enough to mess with it so that the conjuration does not happen anymore. Arcana of +0, 19. All right, good job on switching the dice, it seems. You see what you get? You see? This guy's getting all the attention. With a 19 total on your Arcana check, you know which parts to scratch out. You take out your tiny little fairy dagger, toothpick-sized thing, and you scratch away at some of the runes. You take out some of your darker poisons, and you sort of like scribble in other things. Finny was here. And you manage to make it such that this rune, this conjuration rune in this book is unable to work, unable to function for whatever the purpose of it was. All right, now what do you want to do? Check the room for the staff that you are meant to collect for this thing. See if you can half-inch it. All right, with a perception check looking around the room, +4, that is a 19 total. You are doing a good job, thank you. You managed to see that there is no staff in here. However, you are able to see, interesting, 19. I think it was a DC 13. Let me see. Yes, you are able to see that on the way out of the door, there is a weapons rack that is missing a weapon. And with a 19, I'll say that I'll sort of carry that over to your investigation, telling which one is missing. You can see that it is a large staff-like, it's room for a quarterstaff, and it is among other polearms. And so perhaps it was once stored here and has since been shifted. All right, what do you want to do now? You put the book back. I assumed that you put the book back, yes. You cannot hear yelling anymore, no. You look through the keyhole to the outside of the library, or? Oh, okay, that's going to be difficult, but I'll allow it. Let's see if we can intuit where with a 19. Jesus, this dice. Okay, sure, difficult, and this dice is like, I don't know the meaning of difficult. With a 19 plus whatever it is, you can tell that it definitely came from this floor, but outside of the library. And with that modifier as well, you probably can intuit that it would have come from your left-hand side as you leave the library. Which, combined with the other one of looking through the keyhole, you can see that it leads out onto a landing, an upper floor landing, kind of open plan, looking down over the banister into the foyer below. In the foyer below, let me see. I'll keep that 19. You can see the top of a helmeted individual, seemingly standing guard inside of the door in the foyer of the house. So, you are in the library, nothing else to see in here. What do you want to do? What was that? Sneak out of the library, go to the left, see if you can find the general. Wonderful. So, you open the door. Let's go with a stealth check now that you are somewhere you can be seen. What, you got in stealth again? 9, nice, for a total of 19 again. This stream brought to you by the number 19. All right, let's have a look-see. Wonderful. You managed to get out of the library and out onto the banister. As only you are 5 inches tall and don't make a hell of a lot of sound as you move, rather than having dragonfly wings or buzzy fly wings, you have moth-like wings because, and again, people hate me and they troll me and they know that I hate moths. And so when I created this character and said, what do their wings look like? Of course, everyone in the chat said moth. So we've got quiet moth-like wings, which is good for stealth. You managed to flitter out onto the balcony, as it were, and see that at the top of the stairs off to your left is big grand double doors of the general's master bedroom. What do you want to do? Ceiling level flying, very clever, yes. Up to the ceiling where people are less likely to see you. You flitter across to above the doors. Now what do you want to do? Peek through the crack in these doors. I'll continue that 19 stealth check as you flitter back down to the keyhole of this one. You can see, I'm going to need an investigation check from you on this one. What is your modifier investigation? It's 0, right? Not 1. Lucky feet, anyone? Lucky feet? Thumbs up, yeah, lucky feet it is. All right, we are going to re-roll with our second re-roll. What was that? Yeah, 19 again, almost, 4. Which given the grand scheme of all of the numbers in the world, is almost 19. With a 4 investigation, you can look through the keyhole, you can see that it's blocked by the tumblers and things, you can't really see into the room. What do you want to do? Can you hear anything with your 4 perception check? No, you cannot. You can hear the guards down the bottom of the stairs with their backs to you talking about what they've just been shouted at about, which is basically that they, let's see, insight check again. Let's see. Insight modifier? +1, all right. So with a 12 + 1, that's a 13. You can tell that they are grumbling along in a very deep sort of humanic dialect that you're having a hard time picking up on. But you can tell that they are grumbling about the recent order that was given to them to collect. I'm going to try and keep this as PG as possible. To collect. This is really difficult to not turn this into something a bit too weird. They've been given an order to collect people from the neighboring countries and bring them to the general. You are outside of the door. The longer you stay here, the longer the better chance that one of them turns around and sees you. What do you want to do? Crack under the door? You head down under the door, and yes, there is a crack under the door. You can see that there is a light illuminated in here. It seems like a writing desk, sort of a candle sort of thing. But you can't make out much more than the fact that there's the general gist of the layout of the room. A couple of desks, a couple of cabinets, and a couple of feet behind one of the desks. Can you what? Can you fit? You cannot fit under the door, unfortunately, no. Head up to the ceiling before you get seen. You can do so, but then you can't work out what's in the room. So there is not any grate above the door. However, I should point out as well that the thing below it, the crack through the door, is about an inch tall or so. So you cannot fit through as your current size, but you do have enlarge reduce. I believe once, but correct me if I'm wrong. Thieves' tools to pick the lock into the room. Who's it? Knock on the door and fly up is a good option as well. So we've got thieves' tools to excuse me. Thieves' tools to pick the lock and get into the room. You haven't actually been able to tell that it's locked at all yet. But thieves' tools to get into the room. We've got option B was play knock a door run. And any other options? Make the smell of skunk to distract the guards using your druid craft, right? All right, so those are our options. Try and distract the guards below us to give us more time without being caught. So vacate the room with the smell of skunk. All right, so option A was unlock the door, right? Option A, use your thieves' tools. Not even the person who submitted the idea voted for using thieves' tools. The other ones were funnier. Constitution check. Fail. Option B, which was something or other, knock a door run. All right, obviously. And an option C for clarity, skunk to try and get rid of the guards. Not nobody. More than the option A though. I'll get there. I did a voice panel earlier about all about how to look after the voice, how to vocal remediation and making sure that you're practicing that, and do as I say, not as I do. Playing knock a door run. I'm going to have an athletics check from you because you are 5 inches tall. So if you can even knock at this door loud enough to get anybody's attention. I believe your athletics is a -2, correct me if I'm wrong. You could cast enlarge. Does anybody want to cast enlarge on you with your once a day enlarge? No. All right, I didn't think so. All right, with your -2, that is a 14. That is still more than I thought it would be. With a 14 total, you take a big old run up at these doors, and you just bam against the door, and you fly back, and you bam against the door, and then you fly up, almost injuring yourself in the process, putting your shoulder out. Oh, not young enough for this anymore. And it's not long before you hear the stepping of footwear towards the door. Let's have a look where I am for time. Yeah, we're good. The guard flings the door. Sorry, not the guard. The general flings the door open, and you see before you General Dixon, the target of your poisoning abilities. What do you want to do? You have to get this poison into him in some way, whether you slip it into a drink or inject him with it, shoot an arrow that's poisoned at him. What do you want to do? No? Shoot him with an arrow? Sneak into the room? Any other options? Yep, fly into the room from above him. So just get into the room before attacking him, all right. Oh, very clever. Use the Druidcraft to put out the candle. All right, I love that. So I'm going to give you inspiration as well, which is basically like another reroll in this situation. So with advantage, because the candle is out and the room is dark now, you snuff out the candle as you flitter into the room with a, what was your stealth, 9, right? Yep, that takes it to a 19. With a 19, you manage to get into the room behind him. He looks out. He calls down, Grozg, Grozg. And Grozg turns around, and you see that he's a half-orc fella in a humanoid clothing. And he says, boss. He says, did you hit on my door? He says, no, boss, I'm down here. Oh, yes, I suppose you are. And he closes the door behind him, and you hear it click shut. And indeed, it was locked, so well done. So you are now inside the room alone with the general. What do you want to do? Shoot him! Immediately shoot him. Who's keen on shoot him? All right. Who's keen on anything else first? Maybe like applying the poison to your arrow. Do you want to maybe apply the poison to the arrow first? Yes. All right. And then you want to shoot him, right? All right. So we will apply the poison. No need for a roll for that. You've been doing this all your life. You now have poisoned arrows with your enchantment poison attached to it. What do you want to do? You want to shoot him? Oh, got a couple of people saying shoot him. Anything else? Look around first. Anybody else? Anything else? There is nobody else in the room. Seduce him. We have seduce him, we have shoot him, we have try and poison his drink so that he doesn't get any indication that he's been poisoned. Any other options? Ooh, all right, we'll go a little bit at a time. Anybody from over here? Look for the staff in the room. Anybody from the middle? Yes, let's say, because it's like 5 minutes to go. So he has a drink that you can try and poison, but it will require another successful stealth check. So, and anybody else over here? Anything else? All right, so those are our options. Try and poison his drink with a successful stealth check. Sleight of hand check, this will be. Try and just shoot him with an attack roll. Or, what was the other one? Seduce him, of course. How could I forget? How could I try my hardest to forget? All right, so option A, try and poison his drink with a sleight of hand. Oh, pretty good. Option B, try to shoot him in the face. Or, somewhere else. Pretty good. And option C, of course, seduce him. I mean, look at you. Like, I'm going to give you advantage on this. You're a sexy lady, Finney. You're a sexy lady. All right, before you seduce this man, is there anything else you want to do to try and give yourself advantage or anything? You want to play reduce him or enlarge yourself? All right, I'm like that. So you guess poison on your lips is very good. Poison on your lips is very good. All right, who wants to cast enlarge on yourself? Oh, quite a few. Who wants to cast reduce on him? Let's play some Barry White with Druidcraft. Let's get it on. Hey, this is where I can use my sexy cold voice. Hey, everybody. I don't sound much like Finney, though, unfortunately. All right, so you are going to try to seduce him. What did we? I can't remember what I even just asked. It was enlarge him, reduce him, or poison your lips and try and kiss him. Try and smooch. All right, the third one, try and smooch him. Let's do this. You put some poison on your lips. I'm going to have you make a Constitution saving throw. You have advantage because it's an enchantment poison that you created, and as a fairy, you're pretty good against not getting charmed. If you lose this, though, oh, you almost do. 8 and a 6. What's your Constitution save modifier? 2. With a 10. 10 is not enough for the DC, so you do fail against your own enchantment. Do we want a lucky? All right, lucky reroll. Lucky reroll. Here we go. With a lucky reroll. Hey, nat 20! Nat 20. You managed to get this poison all around your mouth. You get it all up in there. You come up with like you've just been eating a juicy pear or a peach or something. You got it all over your face. And then you cast enlarge on yourself. You swoop down behind this guy and land and take the most seductive pose you can. Hey there, General. How's it going? I hear you're a big man in charge of a big army. He turns around and let's see if he's seduced. We're going to make a seduction check. This is I'm going to make it persuasion. What's your persuasion modifier? He's ordering people around. Okay. Gross. No. We're not going to do that one. All right, so he's got... What again? +6. Thank you very much. Here we go. You're a sexy lady fairy, so you have advantage. That's a 19 on the dice. +6. I swear to God. That's a 25 to be seductive enough to get a little kiss from him. He is immediately taken by you, and there is without an insight check needed, you can tell that there is something compelling him to come towards you and give you a big smooch on the lips. And because they were low on time, he does fail his save against your enchantment thing. However, His eyes then roll back in his head, and you hear a demonic voice say, "Trying to use my own poisons against me, Finney. Not why I gave them to you." And you realize that Kasht has made some sort of a deal with this guy as well. As Kasht bursts out of this guy's skin, taking over General Dixon entirely, I'll have you roll initiative, and we'll go into a fight with a demon. Let's see, what's your initiative modifier? You can try and seduce the demon instead. What's your initiative modifier? 6, because you are a swashbuckler rogue, and it means that you can get your charisma added to it as well. So for an unnatural 20, you go first in the initiative order. What would you like to do as you fight this demon? Seduce him, of course, as all swashbuckling rogues should do. Let's see if you can seduce him without the charm, so you do not have advantage on this. It is just how seductive can you be against a person who has already entered into some sort of a pact with you, whether or not that's some sort of sub-dom situation, I don't know. But you have a what for your persuasion again? +6, taking that to a 21. With a 21, you bring this to a very amenable end, let's say. And as you get back on Kasht's good side, he points out that he was trying to allow the demons to take a greater hold by actively getting into this general's mind and turning the three kingdoms against one another. You have dealt with the problem of General Dixon, but you've yet to find the quarterstaff. Investigation check. Let's see if he's packing. With your investigation of what? Jesus Christ, that was a natural 19. With a total of 19, you see that Kasht has got wood. He's, after macking out with some enchantment poison on your lips, you find that he has indeed got a quarterstaff down his pants. And it is very magical, let's say. And with that horrible note to end this canon adventure on, thank you very much, everybody. This has been Twitch Tales Live. I have been Robert Hartley, GM. You can find me all over the internet at Robert Hartley, GM. You can find me by heading to the QR code right there on the screen. I do D&D related content full-time as my job. I'm also the Dungeon Master for a comedy group called Viva la Dirt League, so make sure to check me out there. And if you like Twitch Tales, make sure to tune in every Sunday, New Zealand time at Robert Hartley, GM. Thank you very much for coming. Have a good rest of your day.